Joined by North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, who will be on the debate stage in Milwaukee. He is running for president. Good morning, Governor. Welcome back to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Hugh, fantastic. Great to be with you. Good morning.
Good morning. DougBurgum.com is your campaign website. You've qualified for the debate stage. I anticipate one of the questions or more of the questions will be about former President Trump's legal problems. Do you think he can get a fair trial in the District of Columbia?
Well, I think, Hugh, there's an entire industry of pundits that can weigh in on this, and I'm not going to be weighing in on it because I think just the entire fact that all of media is spending 7/24 commenting on this, that, and the other thing, and presidential elections have to be about the future. And as you know, we're jumped into this thing late. Very few people know us. It's important for us to spend any valuable minute we have talking about the future, talking about our vision for the country, talking about the real threats to our country, including China and Russia, the Cold War we're in with China, the proxy war we're in with Russia. And so we're just going to keep doing that. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of voices to fill the airwaves on their thoughts about what may or may not happen in upcoming legal battles.
You know, Brett Baer and Martha McCullum are the equal of any debate moderators in America. Do you expect them to ask questions about the former president's legal woes on that debate stage?
If they don't, they'd be a rare find in American media today.
All right, let's go to Commander-in-Chief responsibility because you brought it up, national security. Right now, Senator Tommy Tuberville in Alabama has a hold on 300 promotions of general officers, some of them no doubt from North Dakota up there at your missile bases. What do you make of Senator Tuberville's boycott and holding these career military officers hostage because Joe Biden and Lloyd Austin violated the Hyde Amendment?
Well, I think your last part of that's the accurate part. I mean, I think Joe Biden and this administration are willing to sacrifice national security. You see it, over and over. You see it with what they did in Arizona with the national monument. You've seen it what they're doing with their energy policy, which is likely, it feels like it was written by the Chinese and the Russians, the Biden energy policy. But he's willing to sacrifice all kinds of things for a ideology. And this is, the military today. We have two important air bases in North Dakota, as you know, but if someone on that air base, if their parents die, if their sibling dies, the Air Force says, hey, take vacation, but use your own money. They don't pay for someone to fly to their own parents' funeral. And yet here, the Biden administration is insisting to support something which is, highly political, to say that the federal government should pay for that. And knowing and setting up a confrontation, knowing that Republicans have for decades said that federal funds should not be used for any portion of abortion service. So Biden knows what he's doing. He's doing it. If he wants those appointments filled, all he's got to do is reverse a policy and get it in line with the rest of military benefits that they provide to existing soldiers for other things that are going on in their family.
Well, I agree with you. It is illegal. What they've done violates the Hyde Amendment. But, Governor, there are tactics and there are tactics. You represent a lot of career military officers. Anyone being held up has got a family. Not only that, every colonel that doesn't move up to general in the Air Force and every captain who doesn't move up to admiral in the Navy keeps a commander or a lieutenant colonel stuck. So my question is, do you approve of Senator Tuberville's tactics in attacking the Biden administration policy?
Well, Hugh, I'm running for president. When I'm president, I'll reverse the policy, and then no one will have to talk about this on a radio show because it won't exist anymore. It's important that these positions are filled. I agree completely. We need to have them filled. But this is on Biden. It's not on anybody else.
Oh, it's on Senator Tuberville. I've got to disagree with you. It's an interview, not a debate. But Senator Tuberville is the only senator who has this hold. If you see him, what will you urge him to do? To continue the hold indefinitely for 2 more years or to get off of it, having made his point?
Well, I guess I would just say it again. The Biden administration is creating this controversy. They're creating you and I talking about it because they're as you said, they're doing something illegal. I would focus on maybe the president should follow the law first.
Nikki Haley yesterday on this program said Tommy Tuberville is hurting military readiness. Do you agree with Ambassador Haley?
I agree that Biden is hurting military readiness because he's choosing, politics over national security.
Governor, do you think that kind of an answer is going to impress the Republican electorate either as a direct answer or as an evasive answer?
Again, I'll leave that up to the pundits. I mean, that everybody else can decide. But again, I just know as president, what I would do is we wouldn't have this policy and we wouldn't be talking about it.
But you're not going to criticize Senator Tuberville.
No, I'm criticizing Joe Biden. That's the reason we're talking about this. Is because
I have talked about abortion endlessly. I've been pro-life for my 33 years in broadcast, but this is about Senator Tuberville and it's devastating to national security and to these families, and I think it will divide the Republican field. And it will be interesting to people, but you don't want to answer it, so I'll move on. I approve heartily of your online campaign with your shots from the 70s. How's the reaction to your throwback commercials?
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying them. That's fantastic. But I would say, the campaign where every stop we're talking about economy, we're talking about energy, we're talking about national security. And, speaking of the 70s, when you and I were coming out of high school, there was two things that the world was sure of. We were going to run out of energy. We were going to run out of food. I mean, remember the gas lines, the energy crisis, all that was going on. And of course, you'd think after decades of moving this country forward with innovation, not regulation, we would understand that innovation can solve all the problems, whether it's food security, energy security. And yet we have a Biden administration that's obsessed with using regulation in their mind, somehow that they're, going to save the planet through regulation, when in fact, whenever they come up with a regulation like this with the National Monument in Arizona, which is basically, as appropriately described, a gift to Putin, it's as big of the gift as their policy that says we're going to get all of our, buy all of our batteries and solar panels from China, when, of course, we'd be dependent on our number one adversary for critical resources here to run our economy, but B, China's opening up a coal plant every 2 weeks, and if you get a solar panel from China, it was made in a plant that was powered by coal. And so there isn't anything about this Biden energy policy that's good for the environment. If you care about the environment in this country, you'd want to have every ounce of energy. You'd want to have every ounce of uranium mining happening here, because we have an EPA. We do it cleaner, safer, smarter than anywhere else in the world. And by the way, if we took our full of capability to be the energy powerhouse we can be, it wouldn't just be energy independence, it'd be energy dominance. And we had Yellen, Blinken, and Kerry all in China, none of them talking about energy policy as a lever. When China imports 10 million barrels of oil a day, they're the most dependent economy in the world. They've got issues with deflation. They've got issues with employment for 18 to 24-year-olds. They've got a huge set of economic issues that we could exploit right now, but we're not, because we're not using the tool that has been the thing that wars have been fought over, which is energy.
Governor Burgum, you mentioned the president's visit to the Grand Canyon, which he called the ninth wonder of the world yesterday, adding two wonders to the world. I want to play for you a clip of his interview with the Weather Channel yesterday and get your comment on it. Here is President Biden in a Weather Channel interview yesterday.
Is it the responsibility of the U.S. to protect migrants who might be fleeing extreme weather in their countries?
Look, I think the United States should do everything it can to help people who are in desperate need and have no other means of help. And we've always done that. It is not it is just who we are. We're the United States of America. And the idea to begrudge the ability to do, for example, one of the things we're doing is we're providing for changing the environment, the physical structures in the countries which they come from. So they have better lighting. They have more secure, for example, you have so many lead pipes all across America and throughout the country. You have 440,000 schools. You turn on the water fountain and you may have lead in the water.
Governor, did you follow that?
No, it lost me at the lead pipes.
Do you think the president is infirm?
I think there's a real concern of anybody that's had an opportunity to be with him to say, hey, where is his capability? And when we're looking at another 4 years, I think we have to project. I mean, all of us know and have friends and others that are, of that age group. and understand that it is what is human nature is that there is a decline, and I think it's a real concern.
I do too. I mean, the lead pipe answer, that's just out of left field. Governor, if you're successful, do you think you'll be facing him on the ballot, or do you expect Gavin Newsom or someone else to be the Democratic nominee?
It doesn't, we're running today against Joe Biden because he's the presumed nominee, but it doesn't matter who they put up. If they put up, a governor of a state that has got a track record that mirrors what the Biden administration or has been what the Biden administration is copying, I would look forward to that. I'd be thrilled to be presenting the case against one of those governors, because I think the track record becomes even easier when you look at the mass exodus of people that are leaving the states that they're suggesting their front runners would come from. I think that would be great. So this election is so important, and again, the Republicans, if we're going to reverse the direction of the Biden administration, what they're doing to our economy, what they're doing to the energy policy, and how that ties in with national security. I mean, I never thought, 3 kids in our 20s, one just turned 30. I never thought I'd actually be having a conversation that in their lifetime there might be a World War III. But the instability that this administration is interjecting through their policies is actually increasing the possibility of that happening.
Governor, last question. I've told people that I sense in you a little bit of the Jimmy Carter 1976 vibe in terms of campaign, not in terms of policies. He was a disaster. Is that what you're doing? Are you taking a leaf out of that 76 campaign because you're the small state governor that nobody dislikes?
Well, certainly there's no intention, any bone in my body to copy Jimmy Carter. But if there's a comparison that we've got and again, I think part of it is that when we talk about, small states, I remind people North Dakota is the same size as all 6 New England states, and we've got so many great things going on here, feeding and fueling the world.
DougBurgum.com. Thank you, Governor. Keep coming back. I'll watch for you on the Milwaukee stage.